What is up, YouTube? Back with another YouTube video, and we're here with a Season of the Witch Concealed Void Legend Lost Sector guide. And to find this, you're going to want to go to your Destinations tab and make your way over to the left side of the map for Europa. Then when you spawn in, just spawn up here in the Eventide Ruins. Then when you spawn in, you're going to be up here, take your spare route and just go straight to your left and follow this kind of snowy path here. And I gotta say, I'm very happy that we have at least the Europa Lost sectors, because these are way better in my opinion than some of the ones on the moon. So this one should be relatively easy. So if you're farming leg armor today, which is the exotic, you should have no problem when it comes to farming this. It's very easy to do. So all I gotta do is show you guys where to go. But as you go through this little area, you are gonna notice that it's gonna load you into a new zone, the Astrian Abyss. And when you get here, pretty much just go up here and then drop. You could just keep going to your left and go to the entrance to the cave, but I just go here. And you can see you're going to have some AI around here, so I'm going to figure them out. So I go over the modifiers, but you can see here, actually before I go into the modifiers, I almost forgot. If you don't see that little flag there or the icon on your map, that does mean you have to unlock Legend or Master difficulty by completing it normally. So what you have to do is drop down through this little frozen cave, and then when you reach a certain part, you will load into the Concealed Void, as you can see right now. And then when you get in here, you'll see AI and everything. Just go through it, kill everything, kill the boss, loot the chest at the end, and unlock Legend and Master difficulty. Then you'll have the option to, farm these for exotics and stuff like that. So we're gonna run back up here now so we can go over the modifiers and then get into the loadout and then the gameplay. So you can see that's an AI. But let's go over the modifiers here. We have shielded foes who face combatants with solar and void shields. Legend modifiers, locked loadout extra shields. Equipment locked, limited revives. Barrier and overload champions. Solar threat, 25% increase to incoming solar damage. Arak, no. When defeated, fallen vandals spawn a web mine at their feet. Overcharged weapons. Weapon overcharges from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage, and then Arc Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing arc damage. Overcharged Trace Rifle, 25% bonus to trace rifle damage, and then if completed solo, exotic leg armor is rare, and enhancement cores are uncommon. Recommended power 1830, but 1810 and above you should be just fine. So we're going to get into the loadout now. Now for the loadout, it's the exact same loadout I've been using ever since the new season came out. It's Strand subclass with Silk Strike. Then we got Marksman Dodge with Triple Jump, Threaded Spike, Thralling Grenades, then Widow's Silk, and Threaded Spectre. Then for fragments, Thread of Generation, Thread of Evolution, Thread of Binding, and Thread of Continuity. Then when it comes to my primary weapon, Malfeasance, and I gotta say, as of right now, it's been almost a week since this got updated, and apparently the Overload mod is what's making it do a lot of extra damage and stuff like that. So I am expecting this to probably get patched later on, so if you're watching this mid-season, I don't know if it'll still be viable, but as of right now, if you're watching this the day it was uploaded or relatively, I think probably before the day one raid comes out, it'll probably be, disabled or something. But take advantage of Malfeasance while you can now, but if you're watching this after, I feel like it probably can still be viable, but it just probably won't be as broken as you see now. But Malfeasance, and this is kind of my do-it-all weapon, it has Vorpal Weapon, that way it does increase damage against champions. And we are going to be using this for the Overload hand cannon, and if you need that, this mod is right here. And this is what you need to stun Overload champions, even though this has unstoppable rounds on it. Once you put that mod on it, it can stun both, but we only really care for the Overload champions right now. So that's why I'm using Malfeasance. Now when it comes to the secondary, we're running Shadow Price, and this is just any arc auto rifle preferably, that way you have that extra damage buff because of the arc damage. So I'm just running Shadow Price and preferably large mag on the auto rifle. That way, let's say you miss a couple of shots and you don't have to worry about whether or not the barrier champion is going to fully heal or they're just going to, end up dying because you hit every shot or you miss a couple. I just recommend always trying to have at least, a decent sized magazine. So you can see Shadow Price. That's just my go-to auto rifle right here. Now for my heavy slot, Circular Logic. It's become my favorite strand heavy. You probably heard me talk about this if you watched the other ones already, so I'm not going to get into it too much. But Hatchling, that's my preferred perk if you could get it on there. But if not, just one Circular Logic should be fine because of that strand damage boost. Now for the helmet, we have Ashes to Assets, Strand Siphon, and Kinetic Siphon. Ashes to Assets is going to allow us to gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Then Strand Siphon is rapid strand weapon final blows, create orbs of power. And Kinetic Siphon is rapid kinetic weapon final blows, create orbs of power. So no matter if we're using our hand cannon or our LMG, rapid weapon final blows are going to create orbs of power for both weapons. Now for our gauntlets, firepower, your grenade final blows create orbs of power. And grenade kickstart, when your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. Then additionally, your armor charge is consumed and you gain additional grenade energy for each stack. And then fastball, and it's just to show you, fastball really isn't that necessary. You can see I only have one slot left, and I just figured, you know what, it's empty. That's the only thing I could put on, so I did it. But then for the chest piece, just to show you, the main takeaway here is your resistant mods. I have solar damage resistance, and then arc damage resistance. There is void damage, however, it's just the servitors, and you know, there's not really too many of them. Don't get me wrong, there's like 3, I think. But in total, I think there's way more solar damage than there is void damage, so I just rather do this. And plus, there is the solar damage increase, so you really want to have these two. And then if you want, you can either switch between arc or void, but there is more arc enemies than there is void enemies, so that's my thought process behind that. Then when it comes to the leg armor, this is where we have our exotic lucky pants, and you can see here the legally modded holster. Hand cannons ready faster and gain increased accuracy and bonus damage. Better already, your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power. Then we have kinetic and strand weapon surges. Basically, your kinetic weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have an armor charge, and your armor charge now decays over time. And pretty much what that means is once we generate orbs and we pick up an orb, we're going to get that weapon surge. And that's going to work for our kinetic as well as our strand weapons. So we'll have increased damage for like 15 seconds. And that's very useful when it comes to doing extra damage against champions or just the boss. So keep that in mind. But strand weapon surge works just like kinetic. However, it's your strand weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have an armor charge. And then your armor charge decays over time. Then for the cloak, 2 time dilation mods. You can see your decaying armor charge has a longer duration. And then Bomber, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So that's going to round it out for the loadout. The last thing I do want to show real quick is that you are going to need anti-barrier auto rifle, so you can break barrier shields, as well as overload hand cannon to stun overload champions. But now that we've gotten that out the way, we're going to get straight into the gameplay. So here we're loading into the Lost Sector. As you can see, as I spawn in, I switch over to my LMG, and I just use it just to do some ad clear here. You can see I'm generating an orb. And you really only need 1 orb, and then when you pick it up, you're going to get that kinetic weapon boost, but also that strand weapon boost. And you can see I tried to stun the overload right there where it was going to get spot, but I ended up missing a shot, and then he teleported. But you can see that's a legally modded holster with the kinetic siphon and everything going on. And you can see I ended up getting it pretty quickly. I didn't take too long to get the overload kill. However, if I would have stunned with that first shot and didn't have to worry about him teleporting and stuff like that, it would have been way faster. But you can see as you move through, you're going to have a heavy shank as well as some sniper vandals and everything in the back there. So just get rid of them, and then you'll make your way into the second room of the Lost Sector. And this is where things get a little more annoying just because of the enemies and everything. You're going to have a barrier champion here, and the barrier champion is super annoying. You can see it there right here, and you can do some good damage with your heavy, as you can see that I'm doing. And then as you do damage and he comes out of that little dazed phase or whatever, you can see that he starts teleporting. And for me, he teleported down here to the bottom, and I was like, what is he doing? But you can see I ended up getting the kill. I threw a decoy down to be safe, but you're just going to have a bunch of shanks and some fallen enemies. This is why I recommend having that arc damage resistance as well as the solar damage resistance. But you're gonna just clear this room out, and there is gonna be another champion towards the end in Overload, but we're just gonna clear this place out first. That way we have kind of a safe area for this room, just in case if we have to back up or anything, we have those areas that are safe. But you can see here we're gonna have the red health bars over here on the right, as well as another heavy shank that you can see in the background. And you're going to see the overload is going to be up on a platform to my left when I jump to my right. So just give it a couple of seconds, and you can see that we're here. Now I switched to malfeasance, that way I proc a legally modded holster because I was holding a different weapon. And you can see how fast I shred the overload champion there. Then I switch over to this Vandal, and then get rid of the fallen enemy. Now here, just gonna have some more red health bar enemies. This part is not difficult at all. You can see I'm just using Malfeasance to pick them off to try to generate orbs and everything. And then we end up running up here. And this is where you kind of have to watch your distance, because it's going to be a wave of exploding shanks, but there's also going to be an overload champion. And you can see the exploding shanks are going to try to make their way to you, but you can just easily take them out. Now here, I could have procced illegally modded holster and everything. However, I decided just to, brute force the overload champion here by just not switching over to any weapons and just solely using the Malfeasance. You can see here I tried it. I put my decoy down while carrying the LMG. That way when I swapped weapons, I would get illegally modded holster and then get increased damage with Malfeasance. And it helped, but at the end of the day, I did kind of miss a couple of shots and I missed the timer. So it really wasn't that useful, but it worked. Now you can see this is going to be the boss room here. And this is where things can get a little annoying, I'm not going to lie. You can see you get rid of some AI here, and I'm just picking up all the heavy ammo. That way I'm stocked up on it. Once you kill all these red health bar enemies, he's going to spawn right here in the middle. And you can see I'm going to pop my super here, and I just kind of spam it on the boss. And it ends up just getting one segment of the health bar taken out, which is kind of disappointing. I kind of would have wished that it was at least half damage. But you can see I run away, and I run back up here. This is pretty much a decent safe spot, just so you don't end up taking too much damage or dying or anything. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that I'm going for the servitors and everything. That's what I recommend you do as well. That way, the AI aren't becoming immune, and then you get stuck in a sticky situation, and then you're just getting shot at by all the arc damage that's around you from the AI. But you can see I'm also trying to focus on the boss at the same time. So if you can, try to decide what you want to do instead of being like me and then shoot the servitor a little bit, don't get the kill, then shoot the boss. You kind of want to be more precise, I guess, do damage on one thing, get the full kill, and then switch over to something else. But you can see doing damage to the boss relatively low with the LMG, and then I end up switching over to Malfeasance. And here I was planning just to brute force it as well, because I had the damage boost proc, I had a legally modded holster, everything was going good, and then I just backed up because I was like, I don't want to keep getting shot by this boss, and they do increase damage with the solar damage and everything. So I just backed up, and then you can see I came back, did a little bit of damage, but I didn't want to take too much, so I backed up, threw some throttling grenades, let them do some damage, let them get some kills. Then you can see I reload all my weapons, I get ready to drop, and I get rid of one servitor here because, again, I don't want this to make any enemies immune. Run over here, do some good amount of damage to the boss. You can see the boss starts teleporting, which actually was infuriating to me in the moment, because you're going to see in a couple seconds why. I do some damage with the legally modded holster, then the guy starts teleporting around the room, and you can see he almost has me one shot here. So I was like, there's no way I'm about to do all this just to die. So I ran to the back, reloaded my heavy, and just tried to finish him off here. I missed a couple of shots here because he's hiding behind these pillars. Switch over to Malfeasance afterwards, and I end up getting the kill, as you can see right about there. We end up getting the kill. There is going to be like a red health bar enemy here that we end up just getting rid of right there. But that's pretty much it. If you're farming and you need exotic leg armor, today is definitely a good day to do it. You can see I got Lucky Pants to drop, which was pretty nice. But that's going to do it for the video. If you found it useful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell so you don't miss another video. A playlist with all my Season of the Witch Legend Lost Sector guides will be popping up on screen right now. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.